Hi you guys, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the Block, and I'm here with our weekly video and tip on creating an indoor space that truly supports your health and your wellness. And this week we were talking about toxin-free faucets. So often we talk about filtering our water because the source could be contaminated or it could become contaminated with toxins as it runs through the piping in our home. But one of the big areas that we often forget about is our actual faucet. So even if your water is filtered as it comes through your pipes and comes out your faucet, it could be leaching toxins such as lead into the water that's coming out. And so this is something that's very important to take care of and pay attention to. Now, I'm not saying that you have to take all your faucets out right now. We're actually going to talk about how to know if you should replace current faucets in your home to make sure that you are using a 100% lead-free faucet. The other thing we're going to talk about is that even the standards in the US that say lead-free are not truly 100% lead-free. These regulations still allow for trace amounts of lead to be in the faucet itself, and so that can leach into the water that you're drinking. And what we do know about lead is that no level is safe for a human body, and we want to avoid it completely. So I am going to teach you everything that I have learned about faucets and how to do a very low toxin installation, whether you're going to hire it out or you're going to do it yourself. So let's get going. Growing up in a home where my dad was a licensed master plumber and my mom worked managing their plumbing business, I learned so much about faucets and plumbing and how to replace it. And one of my favorite things, of course, when I was really little, was going with my dad to help him with his work, even if it was just to hold the flashlight for him. And while we didn't necessarily talk about lead in water back then, he did show me a lot about how to replace plumbing and plumbing in general so that I understand it. Growing up with this knowledge of how things work has really helped me understand how toxins can be present in not just, for example, the faucet you're replacing, but also in the products that you're using to do the project. It's given me the unique advantage to understand how different building materials can affect your health and your wellness, and how other materials probably won't be too much of a concern, because how we use things in our home plays a huge role in how toxic they may be. And faucets are a big one to pay attention to. Not only are we touching faucet handles, but more importantly, water is coming out of the faucet that can leach toxins into it. And even more importantly, the temperature of the water can be another consideration. So if you're in the market for a new faucet, or you just want this information for the future, this video is going to be one that you should reference. I'm guessing that most of us worry more about the source of our water and toxins in that. And a lot of times we forget about the potential toxins that are inside our faucets. The truth is, your water can leach toxins at any point in your home from your own plumbing and fixtures. So these are the big toxins that we're going to look for when we're talking about faucets specifically. The first one is lead, and many faucets still contain lead. And while the federal regulations limit the amount of lead, there really is no safe amount of lead inside our bodies. Lead builds up in our systems quite quickly as our body just doesn't detox it very well. Children's lead can quickly escalate to unsafe levels, harming their development and cognitive skills. Another thing that we're going to talk about is pathogens. So bacteria, viruses, and pathogens can live on surfaces in and around the faucet, causing them to contaminate the water that you're washing your hands with or drinking. Certain waterway materials are more conducive to bacteria than others, which we will look at. And then finally, PVC toxins. Polyvinyl chloride is used in fittings and pipes and certain components within a faucet. PVC does have the ability to leach toxins into your water when hot water is used or the material is newer especially. So you might be wondering, do I need to replace my faucet right away? As with so much of what we discuss here at Healthy House on the Block, there really is no black and white answer to this question. So we're going to determine if you should replace a faucet, and I'm going to share with you the things that you need to take into consideration. First, is this faucet used for drinking out of? If it were me, I would want to know that the spot I was drinking water from was completely toxin-free. This is the most important thing to consider. So if you are unsure if your kitchen faucet is lead-free and you use your sink to wash food or use it to cook with, it might be worth considering a faucet replacement at that point. A bathroom faucet is another one of those faucets that you could potentially leave if you're unsure about the lead within the faucet. If you brush your teeth or rinse your mouth out with that particular faucet, you can always bring in filtered water in a cup to the bathroom with you while you wait to replace that faucet. And finally, a shower head faucet is one to consider replacing. Sometimes you can get an add-on shower head that will filter out some of the water before spraying out. And if it's something you don't plan to replace for a while, you could certainly go this route of filtering the water rather than replacing the faucet. So when you're on the hunt for a replacement faucet, here are the key things that you need to know and look for. Waterway material is referring to the material that is directly around the water and directly touching the water as it flows from your pipes to the spout of the faucet. This material is what matters the most when we're looking at a healthy, toxin-free faucet. So pay attention to what the waterway material is made out of. 100% lead-free is the most important thing to look for. Beware of faucets that say lead-free, as they can still contain 0.25% of lead in the material. A faucet that is advertised as 100% lead-free is the real deal. So certifications like this one can indicate that there are very low levels of lead in the faucet, as they meet the approved requirements for leaching. You can look for the NSF mark on the package of the faucet to ensure that it follows these requirements. And finally, stainless steel is the best material you can find for a replacement faucet, and it's the least toxic option for your home. Stainless steel will limit any sort of bacteria or pathogens. It is also 100% free from lead. A faucet on the opposite end that contains brass or brass waterways is one that likely has lead, as brass and lead usually go hand in hand. Lead-free brass is not only uncommon, but very difficult to find. So you may have guessed, but there are more materials and products involved in replacing a faucet than the actual faucet itself. And so you want to make sure that these materials are also as toxin-free as possible. Whether you're going to hire a plumber or do the project yourself, you can actually ask that particular materials be used. And better yet, you could actually provide them for the professional. These are the ones I have linked on the blog post this week, and they are low toxin products that you would use when you go to replace a faucet. And so, of course, I'm going to share with you my Healthy House approved faucet brands. I have these all linked on the blog post this week, but these are the brands that I recommend to my clients and I trust myself. So remember, it may not be necessary to rip out a perfectly good faucet, but when the time comes and you're ready to make a change, why not do it in a low toxin way to prevent new toxins from entering your space? After all, a healthy home will support your health and your wellness rather than burden it down. So whether you decide to replace your faucets right now, or you're just going to hang on to this for the future, remember that you can make a very intentional choice to choose something that is low toxin to support your health and your wellness in your home. I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel because I'm here every single week with a new video or tip on creating an indoor space that truly supports your health and your wellness.